Welcome to NAAN Fiction. This is the series where we dive deep into those real life stories, the often overlooked ones, all about the Asian experience. We get into the nitty gritty and we have a lot of fun doing it over an amazing meal. We are here at By Aunt Restaurant on College Street in downtown Toronto, and we're gonna get into all of the things, social media, all of those myths and misconceptions with digital content creator Durka Muru. If you don't know who she is, I don't know where you've been, she is phenomenal. And she just had a baby and we talk about motherhood, identity, so many things. It is a great episode ahead here on NAAN Fiction.
Durka, I am so excited to talk to you because I feel like I know you. That's social media, right? But I don't know you. Right, so I am very excited. And before we even get into this, thank you so much, By Aunt Restaurant. I don't know. Yeah, beautiful. When I walked in, I'm like, oh my God, it smells so good in here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have some great food coming out. The whole thing of this show is it's like spicy conversations.
Oh, love that.
Served over spice.
Yes.
Right?
As it should be. Yeah.
So let's get into all of it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I feel like I know you, but I don't really. So let's start off with like a get to know Durka.
Okay.
Rapid insights round. Okay. Like just super, super fast.
Yep. I've been doing social media. Oh, no.
No, I have questions for you.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
That's totally fine.
No. You tell me. Okay. You asked me. I thought you wanted me to say
pet
something.
peeve.
Yeah.
Biggest pet peeve.
Hair on the ground. Weird one, I know.
Oh, I'm in perimenopause. There is so much hair on the ground.
I'm postpartum.
Postpartum, yeah. We probably have the same hair on the ground.
Yeah.
Since we're at a restaurant, ultimate foodie question, only one food, you're stuck on an island forever. What's the one food item you're going to have?
Tamil food. For sure.
Just the whole, everything.
Yeah, everything.
The whole cuisine.
Everything. Something my mom makes. I don't know.
I love that. Time travel. If you could time travel to any era, past or future, where do you want to go and why?
Past high school. I love my high school experience. So yeah, I know. I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And bucket list. What is one thing that you are determined to check off that bucket list?
Go to South Africa.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Travel. Travel's always good.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Superpower. One superpower.
Flying. Like being able to fly. I think that's
so. Then you could just fly to South Africa.
I mean that too. But yeah, I just think it's cool. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. And then last one. Star power, because you are in the social media world. Right. Who is one person you really, really is on your list that you want to collaborate with?
Collaborate with?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
It could be anyone.
I feel like Rihanna. Just because like she's such a boss. I love her like Fenty hair, Fenty skin, Fenty beauty. I love everything that she embodies, and I'm in that space too. So I feel like that would be really cool.
It would be.
Yeah.
I know this question's not for me, but I just thought of it off the fly. I'm like, Michelle Obama would be a really fun collab.
For sure.
Getting her, like, doing her makeup.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think I would be shaking. I'd be shaking.
And then we get into this really deep conversation. Okay. So I think we're easing into it. That was like a little light bite.
Right.
Now let's get into the big one.
Yeah.
New mother.
Love it. But hate it at the same time.
It is a love-hate. Okay, so I mean, there are so many paths that we can take with this. But what was for you one of the biggest surprises, maybe both good and bad, that you had no idea?
Postpartum. I think the hardest thing for me was the identity shift. I didn't realize how it was going to affect me. I've always wanted to be a mom. Like, as young as I can remember, like, I've always wanted to be a mom. I love my nephews and my nieces, like, my cousins, my sister. Everyone's always like, oh, yeah, you're going to be the best mom. Like, I wanted to be a mom for so long. So I never thought that I would feel that until it happened. I kid you not, the day after I got back from the hospital, all I did was cry. Because I was like, who am I? Like, I felt like I lost myself. And I never knew that I would feel that way, and that's exactly what happened. So I think that was really hard for me. That first month was brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel for me it was, and I tell my friends, I'm like, for me something happened at week 3.
Yeah.
And I was same. I couldn't stop crying.
Yeah.
Like, who am I?
Yeah.
Wow, what am I even doing? How to get myself into this? I mean, I had a totally different. My firstborn was born 2 months early.
Oh.
So we spent 2 months in ICU, and I'm like, this is not how I imagined it. But everybody's story, like, it is just,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. And then on top of that, like you said, your sense of identity, you share so much of yourself authentically on social media, online.
Yeah.
And then how does motherhood weave into that? And when did you feel like you wanted to start talking about that journey postpartum?
Well, I've always been someone that loved to showcase my life, and I love being raw online. Like, I think that's something that I truly like stand by. And so I knew from the moment I got pregnant that I wanted to be able to bring my followers or my tribe along on that journey with me. But I think postpartum, it was hard to like open up on social media because I've never been vulnerable on social media. Like, I always just show the good, like whether that be with my family, my partner, like whatever it is.
Oh, I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
So you're, up until now, it's always been the highlight reels, so to speak?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally. Like, I never show like the emotional side of me or when things go down or like the negative parts of life. And so when I got pregnant, I experienced a lot of things mentally where, like, physically I love being pregnant. Like, I would do it 10 times again. But mentally I feel like I really struggled, and I wanted to be able to showcase that because I was like, everyone's always like on social media like, oh my God, you're glowing. Oh my God, you're doing it all. How are you posting? How are you working out? How are you, like, everyone just made it seem like I had everything together, but in reality, behind closed doors, that wasn't the case. So I was like, you know what? This is a lie. I'm like, let me show like how vulnerable I've been as well. And so when I started doing that, I felt like a lot of people could relate to me. And then postpartum was just bad. Like, I felt alone 24/7, even though I have the most amazing husband. Shout out to him, because honestly, without him, I don't even know how I would have been able to get through this year. But I just felt alone constantly. And the thing is with TikTok and things, I felt like I found my sense of community through that, and I knew that I wasn't alone because of TikTok. So I wanted to be that person for other people as well that are following us or me. And as a brown girl, we don't talk about it. Like, I've never seen anyone in the brown space be vulnerable online, like, ever. And so I was like, I need to be that person because I'm sure so many people can relate to me. And I know my following on social media, especially on TikTok, is like from like the teenagers to like my mom's age people. And I know this because when I go out in public, I have NTs coming up to me being like, oh my God, I follow you. So I'm like, I want to talk about postpartum and how hard it can be, because I don't think our parents understood that.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to maybe
I think they did understand it. They just didn't. I think they kept it inside.
Maybe. But I also feel like a part of them, I feel like a lot, like our parents, they're raised to just have kids. Like my mom and my aunts and stuff, they're like, okay, you're 20, you have to find a man and get pregnant. Like, that's all they know. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I feel like for them, like their whole life, they've been trained to be a mom. Like, that's all they know. And for me, I felt like I was losing myself. Like, when I tell my mom, or if I talk to my mom about, I can't play sports anymore, or like, I don't know how I'm going to balance it. My mom, what do you mean sports? Like, just do your job of being a mom. Like, she doesn't understand, you know what I mean? And so I wanted to be that vocal, like be vocal about it and bring it to the internet, even though it's so hard to be vulnerable because you get so much hate for even breathing the wrong way online, right? Yeah. And so, but it's been a journey.
Everybody has an opinion about motherhood in particular.
Oh, 100%.
And so I wanted to ask you in that social media space as well. So I've seen some pictures, but not face pictures of your child. So how do you determine what that, oh my gosh.
That looks amazing. Wow.
What is this, sorry?
So that's Becky Chawla Kapapore. It's going to be colored by creators along with cousins.
Oh my gosh, it looks so good.
Thank you.
Let's get a shot of this before we eat this. Where was I? Yeah. So how do you separate what you're going to keep personal and private versus what you'll let the public in on?
So the reason we haven't showed him per se, his face per se, is because my husband's very private. If it wasn't for what I was doing in life, like my job, no one, he would not even have social media. Like, people wouldn't even know I'm pregnant. People wouldn't even know I've given birth. Like, he is so private. So this is an ongoing battle between me and him, because I'm constantly saying I want to show him, and I'm still putting my foot down about it. And my husband's like, no, because he's like, you have such a big following, and he's like, you get critiqued on everything, and he's like, I just don't want to put our child into that space. And I totally understand where he's coming from, but from my point of view, it's like my job, and I love sharing everything about him. And he's just so cute. Like, how do I not? Like, you know what I mean? So I think if I do end up showing him, there's definitely going to have to be a balance. Like, I don't think we're going to be able to show everything. And I don't want to make my content about him necessarily. I want it still to be about me. So if I can integrate him into my content, that'd be amazing. But I think we're trying to figure that out. And I think there has to be boundaries, of course.
Yes.
But something that I'm trying to learn as I go as well.
It's so funny you say that, because my husband is the same. He is not a social media guy at all. He made an account just so that he can like my I don't even think he looks at anything. And he gets annoyed because he'll be out in public and they're like, oh, are you Meera's husband? And he's like, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's very much the same.
Yeah.
And I can tell you with motherhood, even like my kids are older now, they're 12 and 9.
Yeah.
And now I have put a boundary, whereas before when they're younger, I used to love, like you, like I wanted to show them and share them. But as they've got older, I've become a little bit more guarded. And also for safety concerns, I make sure that I'll still show their faces, but I'll for sure in respect of all their friends, I'll never show their friends. But I don't want people to know, like, see a school sign. I don't want them to know where they are. Even when I'm traveling with my kids, I actually never post in real time. Because I don't want people to know when I'm not with my children, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's sort of, it changes as well, and I understand. Like your husband, I understand my husband, and I think we just have to find
the balance
in that, because like you said, two people are so quick to make judgment.
100%,
which is crazy, because so many of us are going through the exact same thing.
Don't you think you'd just be supportive,
right? Even basics, like there was strawberry frosted flakes on sale this week, right? And so I bought them, and I didn't want to talk about it at all on social media, because people are like, oh my God, you give your kids frosted flakes.
Oh my God.
So it's like every little thing I feel like is in our head, and
you double think it all the time. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. But I do love that you are so vulnerable and authentic as you evolve into this space, because I think so many people are going through it. So many people feel alone. And I know I talk about my journey with epilepsy. I talk about it on TV. I talk about it all the time. And you almost don't realize until you are so vulnerable, and people will like write back to you, or even like a long private DM, and it means the world to them and to you. Okay, this was worth it, because somebody feels seen, and somebody feels like they're not alone.
Exactly.
Right? So
that honestly is why I do what I do, especially now with the whole mom content. I love when people are like, I've had so many like women reach out being like, hey, your content keeps me going or motivates me or whatever. And that's the reason why I love posting what I do. And like, I can't imagine like not doing it now. Like,
so so I want to get into the whole social media sphere with you, because if you're not following her, what are you doing? You're so good at what you do, but do you ever feel, because like I said, I'm a lot older than you. And so like social media is a hard thing for me. I still struggle with it. Like freaking, it takes me hours to edit a single video. Like this is not my forte. But I also don't always feel like creating content or posting. And that's your bread and butter. That's your job. Like, how do you stay inspired and stay motivated to keep going? Because it's a grind. I also want to talk about the myths of what people think it is versus what it actually is.
I genuinely find happiness in creating. Like, I remember when I was pregnant, I told myself, oh, like maybe once I've given birth, I'll take a month off like normal people. And I told my husband, I'm like, I want to create every single day. Like I would literally take care of Ian and somehow film while doing that. And then at nighttime, after we put him down for bed, I'm editing. And I'll literally edit like 5 videos in a row. And I get so excited about it. Like, I genuinely find so much happiness in that. And I think I found my space in TikTok. I really, really love TikTok. Instagram, I do too. I started off on Instagram, but I feel like TikTok, you can be vulnerable. You find this community, people are just like writing for you. The growth is just amazing. And I feel like you can just be raw on TikTok. Whereas Instagram, I feel like it's more
polished.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like about the aesthetics.
Yeah.
And, you know, on TikTok, I don't have to be wearing makeup. I could just do what I want to do. Like, you know, it's just raw. It's just authentic. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I find the motivation. It's just, I love what I do. Like, I don't know how else to explain it other than that. And I mean, right now, currently, I'm taking a break. This is the first time since January that I've taken a break. And I think I needed it just for my mental health because I was struggling a little bit. But it has nothing to do with like being like posting. It's just I myself needed that.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love it.
You know
so
what else
much.
I think we're gonna love? Oh, the chef is here. It is so good to see you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Okay. Please tell us. Good. I'm so good.
Thank you for coming to my
Thank you for having me.
This is Durka. Okay, I'm gonna move this over. The presentation here is always
Oh my God, it looks
I love.
amazing.
love, love, love.
So this is something unique. We are doing the tapioca fritters.
Oh,
Ooh,
We do a chart. This
very nice.
very cool.
it's like a street food of India.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is something usual.
Ooh,
Chicken, a quiche over here.
that looks
Oh.
good.
Only minced chicken, and then we are filling it with quiche.
I love that.
I love it.
Thank you so
We're
much.
gonna eat. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Durka, let's get some food while we
okay.
continue our conversation. Do you
Yeah.
eat chicken? Do you eat meat?
Yeah, I eat everything.
Okay.
Oh,
Did you get that?
all right. I just grabbed one. Thank you.
Oh, this is good. This
Oh my God, is
real.
it?
Be
I am
real,
so
be
sorry.
vulnerable. Don't be sorry.
Oh my God.
Do you
Not
want
me spilling it.
Do you need another napkin?
I mean, I just.
Here. Okay. I know this happened. I think it's minced. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to do with this. I
Yeah, I
didn't
don't
pay
know how to-
attention.
Maybe we just eat it. Like take a shot. I don't know how. I don't know how it works.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah. Wait. Let me just.
Oh, maybe
So unrefined. Look.
nothing aesthetic about this.
It's not a drink.
Okay.
It's not a shot.
Maybe pour it on top.
I'll figure it out. Okay. I can't remember. I can't remember. There was some heat in the non-shot.
No,
No, it's good.
it's
just-
good though.
It's good. Everything is. I love the presentation. There's also an Anch on Wellington.
Okay, good thing.
That's
You
why
said college because I was
I know.
about to Uber there.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like,
Because
oh my
this
God.
one's called By Anch.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But this chef, he also was at the other one. We taped that one for season one.
okay.
Amazing. Like
Okay.
I love the
So
whole
pretty. Yeah.
fusion, like modern take on everything.
Looks so good.
It's amazing. What were you talking about?
Can I just wipe this off?
Yeah.
I feel bad like leaving it like this. Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
oh my God. Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Yes.
gonna drop this here.
Okay. Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, with social media, it's almost like a double-edged sword, I feel like, because it can be, like you said, it's this great place for building community. You found your space on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
But then it's also, I find it can sometimes be like a really life suck in terms of, I read this great thing from Denzel Washington, and he actually tells his kids, don't go on social media, because he said, before you just wanted to be liked by, say, like in high school, like by
Your
those
friends.
10 friends, right? The 10 people in your class or whatever. Now 10 is not enough. Now you want to be liked by tens of thousands of hundreds of millions
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're not good enough if you aren't. Whereas imagine even if you're in a room talking and 30 people were there
Yeah.
listening to you, you would be fine.
Yeah.
But social media has made us feel like we're not fine, or why wasn't I invited to that event? And
Right,
like,
yeah.
I feel it now, and I'm like, as a 46-year-old woman, if
Yeah.
I feel that, how are other people feeling? And
100%.
when it's your job as well, like, how does that play
Yeah.
on your mind?
I think for me, the biggest thing about social media is the hate that you can get. it's not easy. You have to have a thick skin. Like when people make comments like, oh, she's just an influencer, another influencer, I'm like, well, if I'm just another influencer, why don't you just do it too? Because it's not easy. The hate that you get, you have to have thick skin. Otherwise you will go down like a rabbit hole of just negativity. I have an amazing support system. Like my parents support me in what I do. My supports me in what I do, and that's all I need.
Yep.
So when I do get hate, it's kind of like, okay, and like, you're not the one paying my bills. You're not the one living my life. You don't know what's going on in my household. So just so be it. The thing is, I do agree. Like, it's hard sometimes because like sometimes you see like other creators getting certain opportunities and you're like, why didn't I get that opportunity? And I remember in the beginning I struggled with that, but now I'm like, no, there is opportunities enough for everyone. It doesn't matter if I don't get that one because I'm gonna get the next one. And I feel like you just have to have this sense of confidence, otherwise it's very difficult. And like when I get hate, I just think about it like I'm doing something right. Because if someone had stopped in their tracks just to make a hate comment, that means your content got to them.
Exactly.
And it is what it is. Like, I'm not someone that would ever, if I don't agree with something, I'm not someone that's going to be an internet warrior and like whatever. But if that's how some people want to function and live, so be it. Yeah. It's not my problem.
And then you touched on the myths. I want to talk about that because people tend to think, even in my space, which is not so much social media, more on the media side, like it's so glamorous and like, it's like we put on the makeup and, you know, the hair and wardrobe and all of these different things. And you're at this like fancy, my husband even, he'll be like, that was work. You know, I was at an event and like, it is a beautiful event. And so people see that one side of it. They don't see another side. So what are some of like these myths or misconceptions about social media, even what it's like filming and editing that people have no idea about?
I mean, well, the thing is with social media is there's you got to learn that things are changing constantly. Like the algorithm's changing constantly, right? So you got to be on top of it. Sometimes you can't just post what you want to post. Sometimes you got to be like, okay, well, what's the algorithm wanting? Let me switch up my content. So like doing your research, there's a lot of research that goes into being on social media as well. These events, they're so elaborate, they're so amazing, but I like for example, I live really far from the city, and so to get to one of these events, it takes me like an hour and a half. Right. And like people don't necessarily, like if you live downtown, that's great, but none of these events happen anywhere else but the city. So you know, and sometimes you get invited to these events and you don't know a single person. And it's not easy, like I'm not someone that like I can't put myself in positions where I don't know people. I get very uncomfortable. I get very quiet. And so it's not easy. Like you have to be able to like mix and mingle, and you also have to network yourself because you're working for yourself. So when you go to these events, you need to be able to talk to the brand or the representatives or the agency to see if you can get opportunities. And sometimes you can go to like literally, I remember when I first started, I would go to every single event that I would get invited to. You don't get paid to go to these events. No. And then you also hardly get opportunities from these events. Sometimes you go to these events thinking, okay, well, if I go to this event, if I meet so-and-so, I might be able to land a campaign with them. That hardly happens. That really hardly happens. So now I'm very picky and choosy of which events I go to because I'm like, I'm not getting paid. And like, it's not always
and
about that.
And you're paying money to get there and to get back.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Right. And so it's a lot. So I think people think of it as this like, it's honestly the best job in the world, in my opinion. Like you get all these amazing opportunities that you might have not gotten otherwise. But at the same time, you're grinding constantly. You're working for yourself. You have no one else. Like you got to put yourself out there. Like, you know, so it's not easy.
Can we also be very real about, as someone who is self-employed, these big brands don't always pay on time.
No.
So we will have... And I'm looking at our videographer, Leon, too, because he is self-employed. And we joked around about this at one time. Like, I just went like a 4-month stretch.
Oh, yeah.
Big brands have not paid their bills. I'm not sure why. And my husband's like, what are you doing? You're gone all the time. You're doing stuff. And thank God he has a regular job where we have a steady paycheck. But I don't think people realize that too. And sometimes we're in a very big squeeze, and yes, it will all trickle in eventually. But sometimes there's these gaps. And brands, pay bills.
When I first started, I obviously was working a 9 to 5, and I did it for like I did it 2 years, 9 to 5 plus social media. And I wasn't making enough on social media for me to be like, oh, let me quit my job. But then I would talk to these girls that I would go to these events with, and they'd be like, dude, you got to quit your job if you want to like make it. And I'm like, oh, I can't. Like, I need a steady income. I finally took the leap, and my husband was like, I got you. Like, he works a 9 to 5. So I was like, okay. Because again, you don't get, sometimes I work on a campaign and I get paid like 6 months later.
Right?
And sometimes you're chasing these brands.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
And
sometimes,
they're mega brands.
Exactly. You're like, hello. Why haven't I got paid yet? And usually the net term on these campaigns can vary from 30 days to 90 days.
So to say, I needed 3 months.
3 months.
Is a long time.
It's after you post and send the invoice as well. So if you mess up and don't send the invoice, you're getting screwed, right? Like I recently worked on a campaign, and I did it in September, and I'm not getting paid until the end of December. Right? So yeah, the pay is great sometimes, but it's also like you have to be able to budget, and you have to be able to like figure it out. And I think, like, I always tell Mayu, I'm like, one day I'm gonna retire you. That's my goal in life. Like, I just want to retire him. But I'm like, we got to get to a point that like it's just like I'm getting campaigns constantly, because otherwise we can't go on like months of
hiatus of no pay.
Exactly. So I don't think people realize that either, you know? They're like, oh, she's just getting paid to promote this. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, but I'm like, I'm also not getting paid until 3 months later.
Yeah.
But okay. I'm like, people don't want to understand that. They just want to say what they want to say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, because the way you do get paid as a digital creator, I mean, some people do courses, people do different things.
Yeah.
But when you're working with brands,
Yeah.
are you very, because I know some people will just promote any brand.
Anything. Yeah.
How do you, what's your, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like, do I just promote anything or not? I don't know how else to say it. In the beginning, I did, because I was hardly getting any campaigns to begin with. I'd get a campaign like once every 4 months. So I was like, whatever I got, I was like, oh yeah.
What was like one of the weirdest?
I've had someone reach out about a vibrator. I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. I'm like, my parents follow me on social media. That's weird. Like weird things like that. Obviously, those ones I'm like, no. But now I do I won't take on a campaign that doesn't make sense for me.
Yeah.
Like if I feel like I would never use it, if I feel like it just doesn't make sense for my content, if I feel like it has nothing to do with what I do, I'm not going to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're very much in the beauty space, but do you feel now as a mother, do you think it will change your content in any way?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah. I feel like everything that I've been recently doing is more mom related content, and I feel like the opportunities are actually more now that I'm a mom, which is nice. And I feel like I am shifting from that beauty space to lifestyle, like as a mom. I think I enjoy this more. Yeah. I love beauty. Don't ever I will never stop doing it. But I think this just makes sense for what I'm like, who I am at this moment in my life.
And I want to put this up for non-moms too. It's so weird how brands and companies think, because once you have a kid, suddenly all these other opportunities open for lifestyle. But it's like, I hate being boxed into this space of you're just beauty. Yeah. No, I'm actually really, really passionate about a lot of women's rights and social justice and pop culture and all of these different things. And being a mom doesn't make you whole, right? You're already whole on your own. Being a mom is like adding layers. It's just like a partner doesn't make you whole. Exactly. Right? Yeah. And so I find it very interesting with these companies that they often only approach us once we are mothers. Oh yeah. Because I feel like they're missing out a lot on people who are not moms. Yeah, who are still doing all of the things. And even if they are known for beauty, they still have to go to Costco. Yeah. They still have to they still have to pay their bills. They still 100%. Like all of these other different things, right?
For sure. I think with brands, it's so funny you say that, because this past month was Diwali. And I had like 6 opportunities come through for Diwali related content. And I was telling my husband, I'm like, it's great. I love that. But I'm like, why aren't these brands reaching out to me when it's not Diwali? Mm-hmm. Like, you're telling me like I couldn't have used these products just in January or like any other month. I'm like, you waited until Diwali to be like, let me reach out to a couple of brand creators too. And it's weird because I genuinely use some of these products all the time. So I'm like, I don't just use it because it's Diwali time. Like, you know what I mean? But it's just how the world works.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And there's a ways to go. I think that's in every space.
Yeah.
I noticed the same thing.
Yeah.
Diwali, right? It's a big media time.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really happy about it.
Yeah, for sure. Because back in the day, it wasn't like
no,
that.
like to talk about Diwali on national TV, right? Or I'll have conversations on national TV about colorism, casteism, all of these things that nobody ever knew about. I'm so glad for that. But at the same time, I'm not just a South Asian woman. I'm also a wife, a mom, just a woman who's interested in all these other things. Like you said, I don't just use XYZ product because it's Diwali. I use it all year round.
Yeah.
And do you ever feel like, because actually it's great it is great. The more and more events I go to, I see a lot more diversity.
Oh, same.
People of color, like I really, really love that.
Yeah.
But I also feel, maybe it's a little bit different in the media space.
Yeah.
I feel like we're almost pitted against each other at times. Like there is only space for one brown girl here.
So,
and it might be different a little bit in social media, but do you feel that at all? Or do you just feel the love?
Like when I first started getting invited to events, it would be like 2 brown girls. And I'm like, oh, this is dumb, because there would be like, the rest of the room is filled with like white girls. And I'm like, oh, you're telling me, like, come on, right? But now when I go to events, there's like 10 of us. And I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. But with opportunities, yes, I do think that they sometimes, oh my God, sometimes I feel like they just get that one, like they have like 3 white girls, 1 black girl, and 1 brown girl, just to like cover their, basis. And I don't like that. But, and so like, yeah, in that sense, there's only room for 1, you know what I mean? But I'm just glad that there is that space for that 1 person, because if that's the case this year, I'm hoping next year there'll be space for 2. And honestly, I must say, in our creator space, like the brown girls, we are like this. I feel like when we go to events, we're all close to each other.
I noticed it.
I love it. And I know some people might be like, oh, they're so cliquey. No, every single one of us are like nice to each other. I feel like, and I think that's so important, because why can't we be like that?
Yeah.
We in this beauty space, we just started scratching the surface. You know what I mean? So we should be able to support one another and have each other's backs, and go to these events together and have a good time. Because for all of the years prior to this, we weren't even in that space. Yeah. So I think we deserve to be there.
And the thing is, when we look at white people, and it's not the same. You can think about a TV show. You can have 100 white people on a TV show. Yeah. So why couldn't it be the same?
Exactly. I feel the exact same way. Yeah.
Any other culture, right?
100%.
I still feel like there is a lot of tokenism.
Oh, yeah.
And like you said, in a campaign, you'll see this beautiful campaign with, maybe 1 East Asian, a South Asian, a black woman, and then you can still have 5 white women there, right?
Yeah,
so there is a ways to go. I feel
100%.
like the door has kind of just slightly opened.
Yeah.
And hopefully within the next couple of years, we're just going to bash that whole door down.
Oh, we deserve it. So yeah.
Yeah, we do deserve it. Okay. So we have a wrap coming up, because time is of the essence.
Yes.
So I just want to ask you, in that space, in 2 different spaces, what is the number 1 lesson you've learned as a mother? And then what is the number 1 lesson you've learned in your last few years as a creator?
As a mother, I've only been a mom for 3.5 months now, but I think prioritizing myself and my mental health is something that I've learned. I've never did it before. I'm realizing that like taking time to like go get my hair done, go get my nails done, is just so important without my baby, because it helps my mental health and it makes me feel better. And so I'm learning that. That's something that I'm learning as a mom. And in this space, past couple of years, is just to keep posting, just to keep being vulnerable, keep being consistent, because one day your time will shine, and I promise you it'll be worth it. Like, it's the most amazing thing when it does work out the way that you've envisioned it, but you got to put in the work. You have to be hardworking. You can't just like post once a week and be like, why am I not getting these opportunities? Post that content. Doesn't matter if it's good. Doesn't matter if it's filmed on DSLR or iPhone. Just post it, And I think,
But do you think, so this is for someone that's just like finding their way in that social media space, and everybody says be consistent and do you think for that, like acting, like only, I think 5% of actors are actually working actors.
Right.
Do you think in the social media space as well, there's maybe only that 5% who, like yourself, are really successful and can make a career out of this? And the rest, as much as they want to do it and might be posting consistently and doing all those things, it just it doesn't work out.
For sure. I do think like sometimes it doesn't work out. I see some girls, they post every single day and, you know, they're trying their best and they might not have their big break yet, but all it takes is one video. That's literally all it takes sometimes for you to go viral and grow this big following, right? Like obviously for me, it didn't happen like that. I started from 0 to 10 to 5, like 15. Like it literally has been a climb for me.
How many years have you been doing this?
I started officially, like I started in 2018, but I went full time in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it hasn't always been easy, and you know, it's not always going to pay the bills the way that you want it to. But one day, I truly feel and believe that if you put in the work and you keep on putting in the work, doesn't matter if it takes you 1 year or 3 years, at some point it's going to pay off for you. Whether that means like you might not be able to do it full time in 3 years, but just being able to, I know first in the beginning for me, just being invited to beauty brands was the biggest thing, right? And then it was, oh, my face being in store. That was the next thing, right? And then it was, oh, hitting 300K. Like there's always going to be something. And so I feel like, yeah, okay, it's not always going to be the same for everyone, but like, as long as it makes you happy.
And it makes us happy. Like you just said, seeing your face in store.
Oh, yeah.
That makes so many other people happy.
100%.
As well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
It's amazing.
Thank you for this amazing talk.
Thank you for having me.
Let's like eat a little bit now.
Oh, okay.
Because this food is so good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Durka.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for teaching me. Like
What?
I need to
No.
be. I think you should do social media coaching as well.
Oh.
Just to add
add
a
to
little bit to your
the
job.
million things that I have going on in life. Yeah.
Because a lot of us need it.
No, I know. I do. I mean, maybe one day.
I mean, focus on motherhood.
Yeah.
Focus on 3 months. I get it too. I was like sending emails like the week my son was born.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember
crazy.
people didn't know I had my baby because I didn't announce it until a week later. So I was literally posting content, like fake content, for a whole week, and people were like, "When did you give birth?" I was like, "Haha, last week," because I was like, I didn't want to stop posting. Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah,
But we
it's a
do
lot.
it. We can do it all.
We can do it all. We can have it all.
We can have it all.
Yeah.
I do believe this though. I don't believe in the word balance because
Right.
I feel like at different times we do have to prioritize.
Oh,
different
100%.
things,
Yeah, it's not
right?
easy. Yeah,
Yeah. We can have it all, but
yeah.
in steps.
Yes.
But we will have
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
A little water cheers.
Cheers.
Awesome. And that is a wrap on this episode of NAAN Fiction. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Durka. Thank you so much, By Aunt Restaurant. We had an amazing meal. If you happen to be in downtown Toronto, make sure you check it out. By Aunt on College Street. And that is a wrap. Please stay connected with us on social media. We have so many fun things behind the scenes. We're on TikTok and Instagram at NAAN Fiction Show. That is it for today. Until next time, keep things spicy, one meal at a time.